Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer. Race number 3 at Saratoga on Friday is the $250,000 Albany. 3-year-old New York breds going a mile and an eighth. Let's take a peek at this field. We only got 5, but it's a pretty competitive 5. Price Discipline and Montebello come off 88 Buyer speed figure efforts. Barese comes off an 89, and these horses seem like they want a mile and an eighth.
Yeah, I think a few of these horses really do benefit from this mile and eighth distance. So that makes it a fun race to look at. It's only 5. I do think it's pretty well matched. I don't necessarily have a big problem with the morning line favorite, who is probably the horse to beat, but it's not like he's, some kind of total standout here.
I would expect a well-bunched group heading into the first turn and onto the back stretch. Let's see what Timeform US thinks with their pace projector. The 3 Montebello has speed. Relate has shown speed on the turf. Barese has tactical speed, but I agree with Timeform US. I think Montebello gets to the front.
Yeah, I think that's probably what their plan's going to be with Montebello. He is, in my opinion, one of the horses who's really going to have to prove it over this distance, Dan. So we'll see if he handles the 2 turn 9 furlongs. If he does, it could be tough.
The number 1 Price Discipline has been favored in all 3 lifetime starts, and he's a head away from being undefeated. The only loss came 2 starts back to Montebello. He bounced back with a victory over course and distance, albeit over a sloppy track. And this was a very wet track at Saratoga last month. Price Discipline was able to make the front in this race and keeps on going. Stayed up close to a relatively fast pace, Mike. Don't love the field he beat, but first-time blinkers seemed a little bit more focused.
Yeah, I agree with that. He did run well here. This was basically a strongly run race from start to finish. The pace was solid. He was up close to it. He stays on well to the end. I also agree with you, though, Dan, it wasn't the greatest field in the world. We saw him turn away that challenge there, an upper stretch from Dangerous Edge. You're not going to win any awards for turning away Dangerous Edge, who's basically a 30 claimer. But still, I thought this horse did some good things in there. And in some ways, he's just the horse to beat in here.
Tom Pletcher trains the 2 and the 3. The 2 Relate has yet to win on dirt from 4 lifetime starts. He's been much better in his last 2 starts on turf. He has some class issues. He has some distance issues. And he has some service issues to address, quite honestly.
Yeah, a lot. He has an awful lot to prove here. I think it's more than anything else. It's just interesting that this is where Pletcher runs him in his second start for this barn. Because when you go back and watch his last race on turf, the first time they stretched him out to a mile, he really didn't have any excuse in there. He had good speed. He was on a clear lead past mid-stretch. He looked like he was going to win, and he got gunned down at the end without an excuse. The most interesting thing about him, Dan, is if you go into Formulator and look up Pletcher's stats with horses like this, they're pretty incredible. Turf to dirt and routes at Saratoga with non-maidens, it just seems like they all win, and the ROI is pretty big.
Montebello is the 3. This horse will be making his first start for Pletcher. Let's watch his last run at Belmont on June 30th, going a 1-turn mile and a 16th. This is his first ever route race. He was part of a solid pace up front, contested. He is able to stretch out the competition right about here, and he's just going to hold off Price Discipline at the line. After this race, he went through the auction ring and sold for $325,000.
Yeah, I mean, he runs well in here. He did, get a big enough cushion at the end to hold on there over Price Discipline, who was just working really hard, chasing on the outside for a long way in that race. Dan, I just didn't really like the way Montebello was finishing in there, and it makes me think that this 2 turn 9 furlongs is a pretty tough road to hoe for him.
Barese, the number 4, has been one of the top New York breds for the last year and a half or so. Let's watch his most recent start, the New York Derby. Get a little bit of class relief off the Ohio Derby, a grade 3, 2 starts back. This horse traveled comfortably over the wet track outside. He makes the lead from the favorite, turning into the stretch, and goes about his business to win with a career best 89 Buyer speed figure. He's going to have to stretch it out to another 16th of a mile, but with his tactical speed, he figures to be right there. He's in very good form.
Yeah, he's in good form. He's been a good horse right from the start. Even when he was winning early on, Dan, in those shorter races, even then, he didn't really look like a sprinter. He didn't have a lot of speed. He would work really hard, but he finished really gamely in those races to keep winning. And then when they stretched him out really for the first time in the Wood Memorial against a really good field, he didn't run badly at all in that race. He was wide around the track. He kept trying. I thought that was an underrated performance, and he looked good winning last time. I mean, I think this horse is going to be a handful in here.
We agree as we take a look at our top. Well, before we take a look at our top selections. Boy, I just put Boss making Boss moves into the winner's circle, Mike.
Yeah, you
The
did.
5. He ran second last time out behind Price Discipline over that wet track. We saw that race. It was a fast pace, as you mentioned. He was well back. He came with a good solid run to get second. He's going to need a kind of fast pace here, but the distance is very good for him.
Yeah, I mean, and listen, if nothing else, he took advantage last time to pick up second in that race behind Price Discipline. But the same thing could happen here, Dan. I mean, it feels like there's a chance this pace gets pretty solid, and that's going to help Boss making Boss moves. It's still going to be hard for him to beat this field, but he did take a step forward last time with the right setup.
Rick Schosberg's been sending out some live horses at this meet. Rat Ortiz takes the mount for the first time on Boss making Boss moves. Top pick time for the Albany. We went with the 4 Barese. He's in very good form right now. You went 4-1. I went 4-3.
Yeah, I like all of Barese's races, and I didn't think he was going to be the favorite in here, and that's good enough for me.
We'll see if Barese can take the Albany. $250,000 purse. Big New York bred day at the spa on Friday. It's Travers Week. Good luck.